early today. I'm already up and feeling sick again, but I think it's just a regular cold. It's trying to creep up. So rather than wait till I start really coughing, as I typically do in the mornings, I figure we might go ahead and get started. There are a few things I want to mention before we do so. And of course, this will give people time to kind of log in if they want to chat with us. So I got my tweet sent. A few things to mention. There was a notice from Carbine yesterday mentioning about their pumpkin carving contest that they have going on. Both the physical, actual real pumpkin carving and the virtual one that they've got going as well. There's a template you can use and everything. They just wanted to send out a reminder that tomorrow, Thursday, October 27th at 11:59 p.m. PDT time, that is the last time, moment that you can submit. So if you haven't done it yet, and you're still working on your pumpkin, get that sorted ASAP because your time is running out. I guess they want to have some opportunity to kind of look over the things before. I think they were planning to announce the winners like on October 31st, so this will give them a few days to go through that. Because in addition to the pumpkin carving, they also have the housing competition that they're going to be running through. So just want to mention that, like I said, it's not directly housing related per se, but they are offering a nice Proto-Bucks bonus for some of the winners, which could get you some, nice housing decor depending on what it is you might want to be buying from the shop. Speaking of the housing competition, we do have actually two going on. Black Dagger Society is hosting theirs. It's just a general competition. There's no theme or anything. And the window for submissions on that one has already closed. They're in the judging process right now. I think they're planning to announce their winners also on the 31st. And then, of course, we have the, trying to find the post here so I get the date right. The House of Haunts competition from Carbine. Entry period, you have until the 30th of October to submit your screenshots. Now, the only confusing thing I saw was that in the news post on the website, they mentioned that you're to submit 3 screenshots, but as I was looking through the rules listings, at least on the EU one, I don't know if it's the same for NA, but on EU it mentions 5 screenshots. So I don't know which one is. I presume the one on the website is probably the more up to date. So I would just stick with the 3, just to be sure. But I didn't actually ask anybody specifically about that to confirm one way or the other. You might submit your top 3 and then like sneak the other 2 in and say, well, I read in the rules that this was allowed, so maybe they'll let it slip. I don't know really. But just a reminder, they are being pretty specific about not allowing any trademarked, copyrighted bits in. So if your Shadesy plot is like themed after or has elements from a copyrighted or trademarked game, book, movie, whatever it might be, that will disqualify your entry. So be aware of that. And apology if I sound a little funny. I have a cough drop. I'm trying to munch on that to keep my tickly throat from going berserk. But for those of you that have made like monsters or whatever for your plot themes, never fear, even if they're copyrighted. I will be hosting a special monster CBDC showcase on the 31st, and we'll be going over all of those for both regions and both factions. So if you haven't gotten me your uh, pertinent info on that yet, please do so that I can add you to the list of houses that we're going to be dropping by on that day. But today is for house tours, and normally this would, I think, be Dominion's turn, but we're going to be going to both Dominion and Exiles today. I've got some houses picked out on both factions, and we're going to be taking a look at some spooky plots or plots with um, some spooky elements, both to entertain and to inspire, especially for those that are still working to complete their projects, be it for an RP party that they're going to be hosting, a guild event, or just personal amusement, whatever. So I warn you ahead of time. Some of these houses we've toured before, like from last year. Some are heavily still works in progress, and others still are new. So it's a grab bag of a lot of different styles, approaches to the theme of Shades Eve / Halloween. So hopefully you'll see some things that maybe you think are pretty nifty and you might want to try, even if it's not for a particular theme of this nature. Maybe it'll suit something somewhere else or inspire an idea that's similar or whatever that might work for you better. Good morning, Aurora and Bones and whoever else might be hanging around. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. This one here is Poise Dominion Alt Kit Carson. Now, I will say that we're not going to really be going into too heavy a detail as far as what all they might be using for things. If you have specific questions, of course, I'll answer them. But we have a lot of homes to go through today, so I don't want to get too bogged down into the details. I just want to share these nifty builds with you. So we're going to just kind of keep it to the O's and ahs and leaving it up to later for delving a little bit more into detail, like those that have some of the monsters that we might be visiting. We'll be covering that more closely next week with the CBDC showcase. But as you notice, we didn't go to the house upstairs. It's not really Halloween or Shades Eve themed. I think Poi was mostly just working on an underground little scene, kind of a graveyard type of thing. And so we're going to focus on that area. Plus, I don't think that Poi is exactly finished with the upstairs. I could be wrong, but I wanted to kind of let them have a little more time to spruce it up and finish all the details that they want to before we go into her. So we'll be coming back to this plot later to look at the up above more closely and stuff. But I wanted to show you how choice of lighting can really affect certain things. I want to say this is either noir or the is it the sepia? It seems to be one of the two. It could be just the dark and Poi has just nicely lighted everything, but I like how the coloring can kind of help set a mood. Hey Poi, good morning. Glad you could join. We kind of started on your place. So again, it's kind of like an indoor-outdoor area. That's how I get it. Yes, for some it might feel a little weird that you're doing an outside area underground, but I think it's clever use of the space. It's just because you have a little hatch from the above coming down into the underground. It doesn't mean you have to keep it that way. And that's one of the things I like about housing. You're really just only limited by your imagination. Sepia. Okay, I knew it was one or the other, or I suspected as much. Um, oh, okay. Well, then good. I made a good decision about holding off on checking it out. We'll save yours for later. Especially since it's on Dominion side, we kind of struggle finding lots of houses there, so just want to eke out as much as I can. So we'll come back to that one another time. Just give me a poke when you're done with it. Um, this is a great example of using some of those new apparition type NPCs. You can see there's one over here in the corner. And then I think another one, yeah, over here. I like how they still cast a bit of a shadow, but I love the little, I don't know, misty, sparkly effect that they have. Not to mention that they're slightly transparent. Um, so I myself haven't gotten a hold of any of those particular NPCs, but again, this is a perfect time of year for those. This is a perfect setting, a nice little graveyard kind of thing. For the freshly dug graves, or that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like sandbags were being used. It's always a great thing. So you can see, I think this one, this is that's one of the new ones too, isn't it? The surgeon NPC. Someone said he looked like a bird, I think, because they think of this as like feathers. I forget what Gary said that they actually were closer relation to. It looks like a chicken to me. Excuse me. I don't have a sound on, but I assume that's making some bubbling noise. You can also see that Poise tried to put use for that lightning strike stuff. Looks like a couple of them zapping some of the gravestones. Again, it's a handy use, especially like if you got like some kind of mad laboratory doing some Shades Eve experiments on zombies or something. That would be a good use for that. Mossy overgrowth, good choice. The regular overgrowth, it's nice too, but it's so bright. This is more toned down in color. I mean, it's still green, but it's muted a little bit, I think is probably the word I'm looking for. But again, I don't think Poi was exactly finished with this, but it has a lot of potential. And I think a lot of people could probably come up with some fun things for this. Maybe having a guild event, having people meet here, maybe make up stories about the graves, who's buried where, or do some kind of a clue kind of game to figure out, you know, maybe set a murder scene or something here. It's something I had wanted to do for my guild when I belonged to it. Just never could get all of the details ironed out. And of course now it's too late, but so that's Poise, Kit Carson, little grave. You have to go up under the house to get to the bunker. Like I said, we'll be coming back to take a closer look at the house. It's really a nice build. I feel bad about not taking a look, but I think Poi understands. So the next one, oh my gosh, I wrote these really fast, so I'm probably going to get the spelling wrong. Is Beltano Betazoid. If I remember right, this is one we visited last year. It's called Spooky World, and it has a lot of uh, different ideas about how they wanted to decorate. You can see they have some, I mean, the plot's not completely full. There's a lot of open space, and they've got some odd combination of elements. Not sure what they're supposed to be exactly, but I think they mostly wanted to focus on this area at the front. Um, but we'll go ahead. I'm not sure if there's anything in here. Check real quick. Yeah, I didn't think so. So like I said, most of the focus is in the front. So what they've done is they've set up a couple of buildings. It almost looks like your first look at a like a little Gothic village. You know, when you think of Halloween and Shades Eve, or at least for me, I think of like Gothic buildings. I mean, they have the Gothic pillars and the fences, and everything's all kind of gray and monotone and just kind of creepy. And you can see they've kind of gone crazy. They even have some of the fireworks decor lighting up to give some effects and things. So just let you know that you can combine other elements. I mean, that's more to do with Starfall, but it still works for um, spooky thing. But you can see it just got this little graveyard out in the front. Again, if you're wondering about this little effect here, that comes with the haunted decor. I believe it's the effigy here, the mask on a hat, the mask with the top hat on a stick is also one that can be haunted. And then the one with the angel head that has the funny looking hair on a stick, it also can be haunted. And what happens is you just put it down in your plot, and eventually this nice um, animation will come up. It's like, uh, I don't know, mist, ectoplasm, fluffy stuff. And you see these little, I don't know if those are skulls or ghosts or little munchy things or whatever, but they just swirl around. If you have visitors, they can come click on it to cleanse it, and the animation will go away, but it will come back. This one came back immediately. Sometimes it takes a minute or so, but so it's not anything. So, you know, if you use it as a kind of an element that you want to be there all the time, just be aware that some people might come and turn it off, and but it makes for some great screenshots, especially if you're not facing the bit so that it highlights. But I love that extra goodie. Of course, do remember they do have some of the or a good portion of the Shades Eve decor in special decor bundles on the Cash Shop if you want to take advantage of that. And there's a lot of stuff that's on the housing vendor. Um, well, I can't access it here, but like there's the candy buckets, all of the pumpkins with the candy inside, those are there. Um, the winged urn and the skull urn, this one here, that's on the Cash Shop at the moment. They're going to be there, for all I know, temporarily like they were last year. So this is the time to stock up on them if you're planning to use them for anything. But on the Cash Shop, they have several sets that include a lot of the gourds, a lot of the blinky eyes that you'll see, um, like the skull, I don't know what the altar, I think is what it's called, a lot of the gravestones, lots of the trees and lights, string lights and everything, the spooky windows, all those come in a variety of packs. They have different collections of bits. So if you're more focused on the trees and stuff for a nice spooky forest, you can get one that has mostly trees and some of the gourds and things, I believe. Uh, Green windows and the walls. Oh, are those on the housing vendor as well? Okay. I'll have to check when we visit my Back to my plot on the main. Fences, you mean fences. Aurora, I'm not sure, actually, to be honest. I've only ever seen people use it with the haunted decor sitting in the upright, but that would be something to check out. I may test that when we get over to Carrot's plot right quick and see if we can get it to work with it upside down. Because if it does, I would imagine that would probably help save it from being clicked off and on. Um, but I don't know, because I know some lighting, in fact, if you put it too far down below the ground or something, the light disappears, or the effect, I should say. So I don't know if it's the same with that, or if it works that the spooky ghosts only face a certain direction. That's a good question, though. I will test it out here in a little bit. So on one side is the graveyard. Um, Down the path, I believe, is the church. I call it the church. It kind of looks like that to me, but you can see it could probably function any number of ways. It also doesn't look finished, but this is the way it looked even last year. So I don't know if the person has just decided they don't have any further ideas, but I could easily imagine a row of pews on either side, a little podium for the person that's doing their little preaching and stuff right about here, um, using some candles for mood lighting and then lighting it with other things. Uh, and then, of course, having these little alcoves here. See how it looks like the church are using the emblem as like the little cross, and it has that steepled roof. It's kind of hard to see because of the trees and stuff hanging over it, but that's what it looks like to me, like a place of worship or sacrifice or one of the two. I like the way they've done the archway though. You know, a lot of times we'll see people use multiples of the arches, and either they'll like layer them in different colors and stuff. But this one they've layered it, and a lot will keep it all the same size and position. But this one they've reduced the size so it kind of more snugly fits the door, but it also has that little bit of, I don't know, a beveled look. I think that looks nice. Let's see, I don't think, yeah, I think that just leads to the rest of the plot. So we'll stick with the spooky area. So this is, it's like a spooky mansion kind of showroom thing. Again, you can see they used a lot of the Gothic style fences and pillars, lots of the spooky green windows. And then they've got these little displays. You get past all the blinky stuff. Um, these little displays of, yeah, I know it's trees and things, but you could easily change it up to be, maybe this is where you would showcase your monsters if you're gonna make some specific little statues or some kind of thing. Um, right here. Yeah, this pretty much looks like what it did last year. Maybe they intended this to be some kind of a, I don't know, guild hall of some sort, but I could easily imagine, you know, maybe a lab on one of these floors. You could use it for, like up here, this would be a great place for a lot of cobwebs and attic things. We've seen some people use things with like the nooses and toppled chairs to make it look like somebody tried to kill themselves in the attic or whatever. Again, I know it's not exactly finished, but I think the idea of it, a lot of people could probably use it. I mean, I like the way the pillars are doubled up um, to support the framework of the house, just to break it up a little bit, using the arches and such in a way that it looks you know, uniform, but like a mansion is what it looks like to me. It doesn't look just like a regular house. It looks upscale. Oh, excuse me. I feel a sneeze coming on too. Like I said, I think I'm trying to catch another cold. Okay, and then the last one on Dominion side is another one I believe we visited last year, but they've added a few things. I know for a fact they've added one of their monster bits. At least I don't remember seeing it last year, so I'm sure they've added some other things as well. This is called Tranquil Sanctuary by Valerie Pyros. So you can see they've got, piles of hay and all their little gourds. Again, we're not going to be going into a lot of detail with what they're using necessarily or all of the non-spooky elements. We're going to be focusing on the spooky stuff. So this is one of the newer decor pieces. I think it's called I want to say it's the Towering Inferno, but I don't think that's the right name. They're using it like a huge bonfire. It's scalable, so you can make it as big or as small as you want. There is also the Fab Kit that looks very similar, and it has a challenge where you can climb up it for a bit of a prize. But as far as I know, they've added some of these things, the tires and stuff. I don't think that's part of the look of it. Maybe this is the Fab Kit. I don't know. I don't see a challenge thing, so I'm not quite sure. But I do know the burning tower comes as a little decor piece as well. But it's like they're having a little bonfire party thing. Um, I think there's like the Wicker Man kind of thing in some places around this time of year. You can see they've got their little scary mobile. I remember this from last year using, okay, this might be an example of that thing being upside down. Trying to see if I see yeah, it looks like they're using it upside down, Aurora, and still have I don't have anything to click, but they've got the effect there. So it looks like you should be able to. That's good to know. I might use that for my dance. Oh, wait a minute. I see the cleanse button. So I'm still able to do it even with it upside down. But I don't see the thing anywhere. Strange. It might be that you can save it from being cleansed if you have it further down, but again, it might work like the lights where it kind of switches off if you put it too deep into the ground. But yeah, this is their little monster mobile. It kind of reminds me of, there was a cartoon when I was really little that they had these little races for all the cars, and they always had one that looked like the Munster family, and this one reminds me of. Theirs, I think, was like a hearse or something, and they had a lot of spooky elements on it. But I love the build of this one, especially. I think my favorite part is it's like the little. It almost looks like it's a hatch that could be closed, like a convertible almost, but it's like for the back end. That's what this looks like to me, and it's just those. Oh, what's it called? It's not the fancy bar. The can't remember. I can't think of the right name, but it's something like that. The fancy bar is good enough. But you can see they've used the wagons, the hay wagons, for part of it. There's some taurine elements. I see Dominion shield there. This is the toilet, uh, the back part of it. They got an Osun piece. It's just a really odd mix of decor themes, um, all smushed together to make this really awesome little vehicle. But you know, what better for a monster mobile than all of these little, I mean, it looks like a really souped up hot rod. Again, if you have any specific questions, just ask. Um, Here again, here's that. Gives you a look, see how it looks inside the grass. You don't really see the little ghosties as much. You just see the mist. Just kind of nice. You can see that the one that I cleansed is already back. Yeah, that ugly toilet. Um, this is her little, I guess it's the haunted forest area. You can see this is the monster that we'll be taking a closer look at next week. I think she called it the garden monster. It's pretty creepy looking. Has some horns. That, I think her head has always looked creepy anyway, so it fits really nice. Using the haunted trees to their advantage with the blinky eyes and the fire. Looks like some monster with a gaping maw, ready to swallow you up. Again, this is a great time of year to be taking advantage of those dead grasses, or like what they're using an overgrown pumpkin patch, overgrown and abandoned, um, but also even around like in a graveyard and stuff. Not everything has to be pristine green. Cobwebs and tiki torches, good mix for some nighttime fun. Don't know what all is up here, remember. I just know we saw it last year. Notice they're using even the augmented cobwebs. I know a lot of people tend to avoid that because mostly they're just looking for the webbing. They don't want all the Eldon stuff connected in there, but you could maybe just use parts of it depending on how big you make it. You could size it up so that just this section is showing. That might be something to think about, especially if you're having trouble getting a hold of the actual other cobwebs. A lot of them are a little hard to get a hold of. Like I said, the only one that I know of for sure that comes from the Boxing Gym Fab Kit, I think, or no, not the Boxing Gym, the Creepy Cave Fab Kit, the one where you like mix the stuff for the skeet, I think is the droopy one. The star shaped and the regular one, I'm not sure. As far as I know, those are from Dungeon Drops or Random World. Notice how bright this light is, how it changes the color of the grass. Almost orange and not exactly red. That's another reason why I like visiting other plots, because sometimes maybe I don't want to buy that item, but I want to see what it looks like this. That's a pretty bright light source. I think this is actually part of the fab kit, so it's handy to know just how that might affect other things around if you're planning to use it. For those that haven't seen it though, this is the haunted house fab kit that is available, I believe, for purchase on the cash shop. It comes with the whole fencing, and I think it has the string lights as well, the fountain, all of that stuff already in it. I have it on my main plot. It's just I've built up around it, so all you see is, well, actually, don't even really see the door. It's get access to the door, but I've got it all blocked off, completely covered it up. It's a really awesome looking fab kit, though, considering some of the others. Another fab kit great for this time of year is the, whoops, Uh-oh. Hold on a minute. Now you saw I wasn't sitting still. Still lost my connection. Excuse me. Let me just try and reconnect here. But what I was going to say is I think probably the favorite fab kits for this time of year are the haunted house fab kit, of course. Then you've got the graveyard fab kit that was right next to it. There's also the creepy cave is another favorite. Even the wishing well sometimes is favorite, especially if you have a creepy town. It has a little bit of that look that goes with it. Okay, I'm back in. Which is back. I'm gonna have to hop back to her place though. I don't know why I got DC'd though. It's like it hasn't happened to me in a long time. That does remind me though, we do have maintenance incoming today. It should be at the regular time, 4 a.m. PDT, 1 p.m. CEST time. And I think it's supposed to last about 50 minutes. Notice they've got again, using the augmented eggs and everything. You know, a lot of the Shades Eve decor has got that green glow anyway, so the augmented kind of works okay for most part. But yeah, here's the graveyard fab kit here. I don't know if she's got one of the others. I think there's one. I know there's one that like has some ghosts floating up. Is that what this one is? No, this is the mining one. It's like they're being abducted or something. I know that's kind of more like aliens, but they have a ghosty looking effect because they're kind of white and I don't know, spooky like. But you can see with the graveyard fab kit, they've just basically kind of expanded it by adding in a lot of the crypts and the crowded graves and things in around it to just kind of make it inclusive with the rest of the plot. Using grass weeds, those are a favorite plant. These are it's the one, I think it's the briar torch tree, has the flame shooting out. A lot of fun stuff. So now we'll go inside. Again, I can't remember if she decorated in here. Yeah, it looks like a secret lab. So again, using that nice little ritual candle circle, that's what's giving that pulsating glow. It's good for that. If I think the oh, what is it? The lop altar or whatever. It also has that same pulsating glow effect. So if you want the glow, but maybe don't want the candles, you use that or just kind of sink it into the back. I think it'd be easier than trying to hide the candles. But look at all the candles. They've used it to their advantage. One thing great about the candles is you can inset a light for your light source using 1 or 2 lights, but the candles, you're free to put as many as you want. They don't count against your lighting limit. They look great, especially if you do well with lighting the room the way you want. This is done nicely. It's got some bright parts, shadowed parts. Notice they're using a lot of Draken themed materials. Those have a lot of the horns and bones and skulls. So if you're looking for something really creepy to go with all of your Shades Eve decor, those are probably one of the better style of decor to go hunting through because of all of the skulls and stuff that it's already, there's already plentiful in that particular decor set. Lots of bottles, because again, this is kind of like their little laboratory. The little effigies that they've stuck with a lot of the knives and such. So here they've got the little surgeon guy, and he's got his poor little zombie doll being zapped. Again, as I said, your little Frankenstein type setups. That's the perfect place to use that lightning bolt strike. Notice they're using, it looks like the Valentine plushie with the heart, and they've just got the plushie sunk in so that all you see is the heart. I think that's a cute touch. Got him buckled down on the table there. Poor thing. Getting zappy-doo. Makes you wonder what the grumple is for. Lots of wires, Osun chains. Again, if you're making some kind of a dungeon scene or Mad Lab, the chains, the sparking wires, lots of electricity. These, I think, is the power surgers or power surge protectors or whatever they're called. It's got all those little lightning effects. Those are great for that particular theme. Let's see. I want to say there's something back here, but I can't remember. Yeah, the little walkway through. This would be a great place to, like, maybe if you want to have like they've got some kind of a moody grave going on here. I think it's the microphone, the caroling microphone that has that weird effect. That's what that's coming from. I suspect, I'm not for positive, but I think that's what that is. But you could have had, like a cave with some moodies or some skeet, having some kind of a little cookout. As you can see, this place isn't entirely Shades Eve themed. I mean, it could work for other things, but like here, they've lit this one up with the red lantern. Looks like he's attached to his chin, but it changes the look of him and makes him look evil. I mean, more so than he already did. Same way with the fountain. They've dressed that up with waterfalls and grass bits. That's the weeping fountain. It's not an easy to get a hold of item. It was something I was wanting to maybe kind of show that you could probably create your own, but just haven't gotten around to it. Using some of the statues. I think someone actually did one in one of the homes that we'll be checking out with some Draken statues. Trying not to miss anything outside. Here's the angel head one. Again, it's a really lovely animation. It's just comes attached with that stuff. Got a little creepy garden. I think one of my favorite parts of this is not only the fountain, the way they've done it up, but also the porch. I like the porch area. I like little additions like this, especially the railing. I like the way that was done. Into the main part of the house. I'm not sure if there's any specifically spooky stuff. I know they've got an alien for the bartender here. Little creepy bathroom. Part of a lab area upstairs. Like the faux door there. Always love the faux doors. Notice they're using the squid platform as their spiral staircase. You don't have to go through the whole mess of trying to figure that out. Little indoor theater. Yeah, there's not really too much. About the only element I can think of that might really fit well with a spooky theme is their candle chandelier. Something similar to what I did way back with my Tangled plot. The only difference is they've actually added little coasters for the candles on the ends, and they've used a considerable amount, more amount of chains. But this would be great for a dining hall if you're having like a creepy dinner, like a haunted house kind of thing. That would work really well. Hey Bones, good morning. Here we go. This is a little bit more creepy looking. If you're wondering about the effect, I believe that's the haunted window one. There's also the train one, and it has the more of a, almost like a lighthouse kind of effect with it. The light moves across the room. This could be like a vampire bed. It's the whole with the blood red drapes, and maybe you could find a way to like, maybe it's an elderly vampire and they have their little falsy fangs sitting on the table next to them. I like the little adornment for the windows here. Just using those. It's not the bars, it's the bookshelves, I think. The Dominion bookshelves. Just that very top part is gold. The rest is like purple or something. Stairs. Nice little homely kitchen. Better shot of that. Here's their creepy attic again, using the nice cobwebs. And I don't know what this is supposed to be. It looks like some kind of voodoo hoodoo thing. And they have this little eyeball in the hanging upside down cage thing. Some kind of offering altar thingy. I don't know what it is. I think that's it for Valerie's Place. Again, we've covered this before, so I'm not really going too terribly into detail. Not to mention the fact that I didn't want to get into too much detail anyway. We're just here to kind of ooh and all about it. Here's one of those new pieces. For those that haven't seen it actually in a house before, that's the new armor set from the Madame Faye goodies. I don't know. Not something I think I'll make a lot of use of. I mean, if I got a hold of one, it'd probably be so rare I wouldn't want to use it for anything other than what it is. So it's not something, oh, well, I'd like that little ball on top of it. I need like 50 of those. No, I don't think I'll be doing that. Okay, let me switch to Exile side. Get ready here. Maybe. She's taking forever to log in. Okay, we'll go ahead and start on mine. I'm not really a plot build, it's just a single room in here. This is what I was talking about earlier for those that didn't know. This little room back here is actually the haunted house fab kit. I've just built a little special path to the door. It's actually just completely boxed in, so you don't see any of the house itself. But you can see I've tried to make the entrance a little bit creepy looking. It's kind of got some green glow. You can see the lamps from the fab kit itself. That's what's giving that pulsing green light, and I've just added some Elden light to it to give it a little creepiness. But we got Frankie waiting at the door. And then I covered up most of I pushed it back a little bit. There's just a little part showing to try and make this easier so you don't have to have your camera at a certain angle. That way people don't have trouble trying to visit. But this is, again, this is the interior of the haunted house fab kit. Now I've made some changes since yesterday. I spent a little time yesterday afternoon, evening doodling around. So we've given the coffin an occupant. I call him Ribbington. And you'll see his partner over here. Basically what we're going to do tomorrow and Friday is we're going to work on some more details of this place, and we're going to have some dancing skeletons on both sides of the dance floor. I figured that was appropriate because I don't want to put a bunch of NPCs out on the floor, because if somebody wants to come and use the place, I want them to have room and not be bumping elbows with some fake people out there. So I decided to make it look like it's occupied, I'm just going to line the walls with some dancing skeletons. You can see I've brought the kitty cat over from Dill's plot, and I've made it so that we'll do a final painting here. I went ahead and left this one up for the time being. I may make some adjustments to it, but for the time being, I'm just leaving it as it was. That's when we did on the stream. I guess it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Gosh, I can't remember. I went ahead and added another one of the tables. And of course, for those of you that follow me on Twitter, you saw my Franken cake. Decided we needed some more goodies, some more tasty treats. So yeah, basically it's just a little party room for those that, you know, want to have a little bit of a gathering with some friends, or some role-playing buddies, or a guild kind of thing. You guys are welcome to come and use the space. It's small, but about all I could afford. Decor-wise, I'm pretty limited on what I have left to spend. I'll probably have to purge a few more things to get the last little bits that I want, but we'll see. But mostly I focused on dividing the space. I knew I wanted to have a dance floor, there needed to be a DJ area, and then I wanted a place for the foods, because I wanted to see what kind of spooky foods we could come up with. And of course, I also needed some kind of wall decorations because the walls just look too blank. So in combination with dancing skeletons and the paintings, I think that will be more than enough to dress up this little area. I don't know how long I'll leave it. Like I said, if I decide to change this up for Winterfest, I'll probably save certain pieces of the set, like the paintings and probably the table settings and some of the foods, you know, certain elements separately. But either that, or I'll just go ahead and deal with the I also have the Protostar Winterfest house. That one's out there, so I may just redo this one for this year. Haven't decided yet. That was my little Shadesy piece of the pie. Next one is, I believe, is Bones's, and I kept getting the name wrong. I think I kept forgetting the second K in Casp-10. But again, some of these places are incomplete, but maybe it will inspire some ideas. So right off the bat on Ludwig Casp Finn's place, also known as Uberwald. We have the troll under the bridge, where he controls the bridge. So there's a bridge from the landing pad, and then you have the troll that greets you. He's got his club. He looks like the Hulk. That's what it reminds me of. The Hulk living under the bridge. But he's got some mossy bits, a little bit of water. I love the bridge though. And of course, I love the troll. We'll be going into more detail about him next week though for the Monster CBDC. And yeah, as Bone says, it's very incomplete, but I like the start of it. I'm anxious to see how it turns out. As you can see, it looks like Bones is going to go for a type of a city build or small town slash village. I love the housing structures. Again, when I think of Shades Eve or that type, the Gothic theme really rings true to me. So a lot of these buildings seem very good to that. I like the start of the church. I believe that's what this is supposed to be. It's just some hover park pieces. Which one are those? Looks like a couple of them sandwiched together. I like that though. Good awning for the church there. Of course, this is a better look at what comes with the Haunted House Fab Kit. You can see it does include the lights, the fountain. I don't think Bones has added anything on the outside at all. It's a really lovely spot, you know, Fab Kit all in its own. They did a nice job of decorating. You get a little bit of a path, all of the nice fencing and everything included. And the house itself looks awesome. It's just, on the plot, I got it. I had the winter theme and it doesn't quite work. So, was there anything in here? I can't remember. Nope. I will mention for those of you that are considering purchasing it, the lighting in here, you're stuck with that. It's the lighting, and I think the music and stuff even is stuck. You can't, when you come in and you have ownership, those particular, the remodel stuff is grayed out. You can't change it. I think at one point it used to be where you could change it up, but it always has this haze. Notice the haze is thicker in the distance, but as you approach, it thins out and it gets thicker from a distance again. That's just something you have to kind of, oops, my mouse is like trying to die on me. It's like when I turned mine into the beach house, I had a lot of trouble with getting the lighting just right because I didn't want it to look as dreary as it does now. So I had to use a lot of clever lighting to try and get that a little brighter for the beach scene. But I think it worked okay. It's just not something, it's something to think about if you decide to purchase it. Just be aware that it's pretty much, you know, you get what you see there. I like the little hut. This could be like a witch's hut, maybe a creepy woodcutter, or maybe it's a serial killer's place. You know, it could be anything, but I love the look of it. Again, it looks suitable to that, I don't know, what is it, medieval? I'm not sure. Is there anything in the main house? I don't think that one's got anything in it either. I will look, just check. Nope. But you can see it's a good start. This gives you an idea of the planning that goes into something like this. When you decide on, like, okay, I'm going to do a little town or a village or whatever, you have to decide, okay, how big of a space do you allot for each building? Are you going to have paths, or are you just going to leave it dirt and grass? Even the arrangement, do you want the church in the center, you know, more central to the plot? Do you want it more to the side? Is there going to be a graveyard attached? You know, I think most people would probably assume like some kind of town hall would be in the center, but A lot of the villages, like over here in Europe, the center is more the church. That becomes, and the towns and the villages sprout uh, kind of in a circular way around the church. So just things to keep in mind when you're planning that. So like I said, even though this is incomplete, it's a good glimpse into the thought processes and the planning that it takes to try and decide, okay, what's going to go where, what size is it, and also when it comes to these buildings, you can see that Bones has chosen to use these in a way that you can actually go inside them. So that means not only does Bones have to create the houses, the construction of the walls, the roofs, and everything that goes around it, but also the interior bits. And that really eats up decor count. So plan accordingly. Maybe if you have to, if you know you have 2,500 limit, start setting, okay, I can use 50 for this place and 150 for this one, and that kind of thing, and limit yourself so that you don't find build yourself into a corner and find out, okay, half my plot is empty because I didn't think about consequences of all of the details I'm needing to put in. Oh, are there some caves? Okay, I wasn't sure. Let's go. Oh, over here, I think is. I know there's one cave over here. Yeah, the little cave. Got a little corpse inside. Yeah, because I remember mousing over this going, is this a secret door? I was trying to get into the woods that you have. Again, for those that are looking for quick forest, those bramble bushes are awesome. Awesome for instant forests. Rather than having individual trees, I always had trouble trying to plant them nicely and make it look like it was organically done and not just looks like somebody, like a farmer, seed kind of thing. So those bramble bushes are perfect. I like the mixture of zones for this little frosty bit. There's icicles, I see some snowy platforms, swirly rocks, obsidian. Where's the cave thingy? Did I miss it? Oh, wait, here it is. Oh, but it's one of those that you can't actually go in. Can you go in that? I want to go in. Oh, here we go. Okay. See, I hate that obsidian stone because it has that lovely little hole and they blocked it. I wish they would unblock it. That would open up so many doors, no pun intended. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Okay, so that's Bones' Ludwig Caspkin. I always forget, I want to say Caspin. It's Caspkin. Another one, I believe, of Bones's is Penny Dreadful. This is one we saw last year. One of the reasons why I like it is, a lot of the spooky plots we came across were traditionally mansions, a lot of like town builds, witch houses and things. And this reminds me more like Mummy. I think it's because it's the pyramid kind of shape. But this is called the Temple of Stones. You can see Bones has been desperately playing with the new waterfalls. It really looks nice. But you can see how, like, the elevations, they'll have to figure those out a little better. But the look of it is so nifty with all the animation, the effects coming off of it. So just ignore the giant ladder there, staircase. And of course, if I remember right, there's nothing inside. But again, Gothic pillars using that little effect that we saw for the haunted decor, part of the little emblem up there. Overgrowth and what is it? Glarus stone walls. Those are perfect for graveyard fencing. Um, Even if you want to build some buildings, we've seen people use them in catacombs. That's another good thing. But I like this one. It almost reminds me of Indiana Jones because simple bit. Is there a bit inside? Okay, let me take a look. Oh, it's like a little creepy house. Oh, look at the altar there with this little creepy book. Again, just those Gothic colors. They have such a nice look. Just that one simple item, and it's probably the most used of everything. But again, this could be a great place for like a Mad Moody doing some kind of rituals. You want some torture chambers or dungeons. Maybe you have your visitor has to, go through a maze. I know a former guildmate of mine did one. Not really Shades Eve theme, but it kind of reminds me of that. With a little creepy symbols up above. It's one way of covering up the house too, instead of having the same little round hut. So that's Penny Dreadfuls, and I noticed they use the green spooky windows there. Those are the crypts, I think, the pet crypts, as decoration on either side of the door. That's another reason why this reminds me of like a creepy pyramid, because it looks like the Sphinx stuff. So next is one of Ducky's plots, Duck Door Evil. Again, I believe this is one we visited before. We visited so many. But his place is fun. Because again, it's kind of like it's good for Shades Eve time, but it really works for any year, all year round. Again, using the graveyard fab kit, the haunted house fab kit. Lovely open hearth here, and then having their little ritual thing. You could have like a table, little section where they've got all their tools. Could be a good place for like a, what do you call those? Is it a mausoleum? Not a mausoleum. Like it's not the coffin, but it's like the little stone casing that covers the coffin that has like maybe a stone figure on top or something. I don't know what those are called. Like a mini crypt or something. Seems kind of weird to have this nice little reading area right next to this, but I guess even the weird sacrificial bits have to have their quiet time. Never noticed that before. Things you see. Here's the creepy cave, I think. This one here. It's got a lot of those grasping weeds. You go in, it's a little expedition thing, and you can, I think that's where you get the drooping cobweb. Sometimes. It's not a guarantee kind of deal. Now, this particular plot is themed on like an insane asylum. So they have the building here. Notice they have the razor wire along the edges, keep the nutty people inside. But before we go in there, there's also the bunker house, which I think is right here. And that has some of the living quarters, the little theater thing. We've got the kitchen area here. Nice big living space. Again, I'm not really covering it too much because we've seen this, we've visited before, just giving a general overview. Seems to be a lot of underlighting, very dark. I don't know what lighting they actually used in here, but it's creepy in itself. Because of the way they've put all the lights, it just looks like everything is underlit. So it's kind of like holding a flashlight under your face. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. The little fab kits that have their own interiors, I think the Protostar one shares the interior count of your main plot house, and then the Spooky House one shares the outside. It seems kind of weird because I had hoped that all of those fab kits would be more attached to the interior count. But it just worked out that the haunted house one is actually part of the outside, which is not so great, but you know, one of them things. I guess they had to make a decision as to which it would be attached to. I like the little safe. Yeah, well, I know they talked about the reasons why they haven't upgraded that. Mostly to do with the um, not the compatibility, but the capability of the majority of players' computers in handling all of that information. Because as it is with the cap at 2500 in and out, um, you already have people crashing. Uh, if they come up on a plot that's fully capped, it can crash their computers. And I think they're concerned that if they expanded the decor count, that would just increase the number of people that have issues. I know that they keep saying that they continue to optimize the game, but in a lot of ways, I feel like we're kind of hampered by that. A lot of it too has to do with rendering. That's why you have a lot of elements that from a distance, like the clutter and everything, if you have that turned on for all the like the little low grass on your plot, that's why when at a distance it looks like it's pretty flat, and then as you come closer that becomes more visible. It's the same way with certain things at a distance. Um, Certain details kind of disappear and you don't see them until you get close, and that's, I think it's due to them trying to lessen the burden on your computers when it's loading that particular area. That's why I'm not surprised that we don't have neighborhoods as they were just kind of selling it before. Because if we could actually see an actual neighbor's real house, not these little fake things that are floating in the air right now, I think there would be concern that their decor count would also be a burden even at a distance. Some of that stuff is going to be rendering. So depending on how, if you have a max plot and then there are four other neighbors that have max plots and they're all connected together and you can see them all from one spot, I think that would really bog the system down. Um, so I don't anticipate that being something that they will do anytime soon. Um, I remain hopeful that one day they will, but I don't think it's going to be something that we can expect right away. Right now, I'm just delighted that they jumped us from 300 to uh, the 2500, for the outside. It might have been 300 max, total, but I can't remember now. But that's a pretty big leap, even on its own. So. When you hear people complaining about the decor count, now you just got to remind them, well, we did only have 300. Can you imagine trying to revert to that, backwards? That would be awful. So this is the inside of the asylum. And of course, you have the little cells for the peoples in different states of repair, use. Some are occupied, some aren't. You have the medical wing here, the little food parlor out here, and then their access to the outdoor area. Again, it has the razor wire to keep them from getting over the wall. Mostly just the graded, I guess it's the Marauder wall shelf, I think is or the correct term. Up here you have a little bit of a waiting room. I assume this is where the, maybe the patient's family would come and wait. My favorite part though is the padded rooms, just lined with mattresses. Going up and up, you get to the attic. And again, lots of cobwebs, using some of that animation. For those nice effects. See how that works on that wall from the other side? Interesting. Because it doesn't seem like you can click through the wall. So that, that's helpful to know if you're wanting to hide it. See that though? Oh, no, maybe I was just tricking my camera. And of course, the spooky eyes, they're a big fave with the Hoogles, other statues. They're great for like putting them in the bushes, like along a path. You're leading your visitor to like the graveyard or to the witch's hut or something. Having those little eyes peeking through some of the bushes and stuff adds to the dramatic look. Trying to see if there's anything else here. To the balcony, and then we'll go to the other side. The library. A lot of lovely custom work. Here's the kitchen. Talk about a mega refrigerator section. I think this just brings us out to the other balcony. Yep. And you have your dining. See, this is a good example of like if you're having a haunted feast, especially for those that want to do haunted houses and have like some of the furniture toppled or floating up in the air. This is a great setting. It almost reminds me of Pokemon for some reason. I think it's the red and the round. Notice the candelabras or whatever for the tables. Those are just upside down chandeliers. Works really nicely though. Gives a good amount of light. Makes it look very classy. But it's just a lamp. It's the same thing being here, just small and upside down. Works great though. I don't think the Exile one would look as pretty because it's got a very stark light. So that is The Asylum by Dr. Evil. Again, if you're interested in seeing more of this in better detail and more description about what's being used, those that I say we've toured before, you can always look on YouTube or some of my old highlights videos from the Twitch channel directly, and just look for house tour videos. I have an actual searchable list on the WildStar forums in the fan sites uh, streamer section. I have a whole little Twitch thread that I keep a ongoing list of all of the houses that we've gone through. Mostly for my own use, but I know there's a few others that use it to kind of search through if they want to find a particular house. But you can just, it'll be around this time last year. So sometime in October. I think last year we did a little bit of spooky tours every week. So it'll be somewhere in there. But